Yes, using a social sign-up for your app. It relieves everyone of the problem of having to remember yet another username and password. So in this video, you'll learn how to give your users that option with Facebook for their sign-up and login into your app. So there's two parts of this video. Number one is that we're going to do a bunch of setup over in Facebook, all the configurations, grabbing app IDs, setting up everything so that we can have Facebook allow us to utilize their social sign-in. Number two is we're going to be setting everything up over here in Bubble. Now, I want to kick that off with a very easy step, is just adding a button for what people will use when they sign up. And I also want to give a shout out to the other video on this channel that shows the same process, but for doing this with Google. There's a lot of things that benefit you when you have these extra logins, because people don't have to remember usernames and passwords, and your app looks that much more trustworthy. If they've never seen you before, they're like, okay, they're with all the big platforms out there, so I feel safe. Cool. So the next thing you're going to want to do is, once you have a button, is head over to developers.facebook.com and click on the top right where it says My Apps. So we're going to log into this area, and I have just a couple testing things set up here. So let me go and just show the process of creating a brand new app. So we're going to click Allow People to Log In, and we're going to add an app name. So I'm going to call this the login. And then I'm also going to add a business to this app and a quick note about this. Oh, okay. We won't add the word Facebook in it for our name. It will just be our stuff. A quick note about the business account. You're going to have to get verified just right away, so you know at the start of this video. It's going to take you 1 to 3 business days to be able to get that verified. You have to submit some documents, maybe like or give the address where your business was founded, LLC, or whatever, what have you. It's just a standard thing to follow along, and I'll point it out later on before we go for the publish live. It's under this verification. But to get us kicked off here, let's just look at our left-hand menu here, and we're just going to start going down from the top. So first and foremost, we're going to click on Use Cases, and under that area, you're going to want to hit this Edit button next to Authentication and Account Creation, and then just go ahead and hit Add for Email, and that is going to allow you to get access to email as well as the profile information that already comes standard. So with that step out of the way, we're going to head over and set up, I don't know, a handful of steps here under this Settings Basic area. And one of the things you're going to want to have set up on your app before filling out the information in this is simply, so I'm going to go ahead and just grab this domain name out of here. And so I'm going to use this for my app domain. But what I was about to say there is you'll want to have a live URL for your privacy policy. Now, you don't actually have to have this filled in, but you do need to have a working URL there. And I'm going to go ahead and just use the same one for user data deletion, but everything else here looking pretty good. And then I'll go ahead and add platform, and for this, choose website. And then we'll pop in the URL for our site, and then we'll hit Save Changes. And you might get a funny thing even though after you've hit Save Changes, and then you click over. So our next stop is over in this product area. And it'll, I don't know, it's already saved, but it will doubly make sure of something. But go ahead under Products, under Configure, hit Settings, and then one of the things you're going to want to do is head over to Plugins, click Add Plugins, and then do a search for Facebook. Now, the first one that'll pop up is going to be this one by Bubble. If anything changes in the future, just make sure the one that you're grabbing is by Bubble. It has all of the things you need to set up here. So right out of the gate, it comes checked for this Use Generic Redirect, which is what we want. And I'm going to go and just hit Inspect on this, just so that I don't have to type it out. I prefer to do a little grab of this URL here, copy and paste that, and then back over in Facebook, where it says valid OAuth redirect, we're just going to pop that in. It looks like I want to make sure I grab the whole thing. Hit Save Changes. If you don't hit Save Changes and then you try and check it here, it'll probably give you an error. But because I hit Save Changes, it's like, okay, yep, this is valid. We're good to go. Next up, now that we've got that plugin installed, we're going to do a thing where we're going to tell the plugin about our app and basically make the connection between the two. So to do that, grab your app ID and then take that and pop it over into the app ID API key area, and then do the same for your app secret. So just popping that in here and here. Cool. So with that out of the way, we will have a little bit more setup over at Facebook before we get into the bubble stuff. Because I'd like to share, so you could do some testing, but basically I want to take us to the point where we would go live, because that's obviously what everyone is aiming for when you're getting this set up in your app. You want it to work live and in a production environment. So what are we going to need to do for that? Number one, you're going to need to do business verification, and that will be a process that you'll just have to, instead of this, because my business is already verified, you'll have to click on a thing, follow through a dialogue of, question prompt stuff where you'll enter in some information. Just follow that and you're good to go. And then wait a little bit. Next up, data handling questions. So this is a fairly new one, and you won't see this in any of the other tutorials out there, but this is, a required thing that we'll just walk through here, and I am not providing any legal advice whatsoever on this. I'm just saying you'll want to take care of all the things that would cover you with this, but you'll want to probably just get past this to start with, just so you can get something live. So I'm just going to say that John Doe is doing some work here, and we haven't shared any of our data, and none of the above. So we'll say submit, and we'll allow it to do its thing. Okay, so with that stuff out of the way, I believe, so what else? If we look at our app review checklist, nope, not there. We'll actually just hit go live now. So this concludes the setup here for, this is all of the steps that you'd want to take. Now, bear in mind that Facebook does change around their UI. They do change around some of the requirements at times. Laws, privacy things do change. And but you can see, if you click through a number of these things, if you were just not getting to the other side of a working app, you know that it's somewhere in here. And you can also please drop into the comments if you run into any issues. So here there's a required action. We're going to skip this for now, because this is just like go and do something within the next 60 days. And we could walk through this, but for the purpose of this video, you'll be able to at least get up and running and testing for 60 days. So that's pretty great. All right, so back over on our app, let's go ahead and wire up our workflow. We're done with Facebook and we're on to Bubble. So I'm going to go ahead and click Add Workflow, and then the thing you're going to do is go to Account, Sign Up, Log In with a social network, and then choose Facebook. Now, I already have some things, so let's go and look at this other stuff. What I'm going to point out here is that I have a number of pre-made things that happen when my user signs up. How this applies to you in your world is that here's what you're going to want to think about, roughly speaking. So there might be some things you want to add to your users' records when they sign up. Maybe you're building a SaaS product and they clicked on a subscription button and they were choosing between 3 of them. They clicked a subscription, and part of the subscription was, hey, sign up to get access. And so maybe you want to store what subscription level they're at. So I'm just completing out my workflows, but I will say the one thing that I'll recommend here is you might as well take advantage of the fact that, so I'm just going to clear these out, and then we're going to see these made live. But the fact that you get some pre-made, pre-built data. Okay, it looks like I'll just have to clear these out. If anyone has seen that, just know that that's something that might happen if you do that. Okay, so what we want is the current users, and then just go ahead and do a search for Facebook here. So Facebook's first name. Now this option becomes available when someone has signed up through the Facebook social sign-in process. And this is, something that's part of what Bubble has set up in conjunction with the plugin. And then we'll go ahead and just copy and paste these in here. So I already have it set up with one space in betweens for the full name. And then lastly, we'll go ahead and save current users, Facebook, profile, picture. Cool. So there's an additional thing that we'll want to do as well. Let's just note that we are living in a world where all of Bubble's templated out of the box login flow, which you're probably reusing. It comes with a sign-up login, 2 sets of inputs where someone can go and sign up or log in. And here I'm just calling it access, but now we'll say login with Facebook. And I'll just point out that for this, it's going to be exactly the same. So if they've already signed up, it'll just note that we're going to use that same user. And then I'll just say that, maybe somebody gets married, they change their last name, something like that. I'll just go ahead and add the updated fields and then navigate them to the place where I would want them to go upon logging into our system. Cool. So all that stuff out of the way, we've done our work in Facebook. We've done our work now here in Bubble. And let's go ahead and see this tested out. So one of the things I want to look at quickly is my database. And we can see that there is no user so this is just my kind of fake Facebook account that I have that'll be logging in with this username or this email address, and we'll see that it's going to make this as our name once we log in. So let's go ahead and take a look at that and watch the magic happen. So log in with Facebook, or the app that we named is requesting access. You know what? I'm actually logged in as, I'm going to hit cancel for 1 second. So whatever account that you happen to be logged in that same browser, you're going to use that same one to log in here. And my other one already had a account in the system. So cool. So now we can start fresh, test this thing out, and see that you'll have a successful afternoon or morning or evening whenever you are developing your Bubble app, that you'll be able to get past all of the hurdles. You'll have, here within a short period of time, a setup and working social login. So we can see that it has logged us in, and it's going to navigate us to a place where we'll take a tour of the app, kind of the home screen area. But let's go ahead and look in the database here. We can see our full name and also a profile image that was pulled in for this test account. So that's it. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, check out nocodeacademy.co for our course library, and thanks so much for watching.